Hello and welcome to RelationShape. Today, we're going to learn about 9 mistakes that can make your relationship go from love to hate. Now let's begin. Number 1, taking each other for granted. You might think that since you've been together for a while, that they will always be there. But that's not how relationships work. You need to continue to put in the effort to show them how much you care. Otherwise, they will start to feel unappreciated, and that's when the problems begin. A good example of this is if you used to always put your phone down when you were with your partner, but now you're constantly on it, even when they're trying to talk to you. This sends the message that they are not a priority anymore, and that will lead to resentment. Think of how you'd feel if the roles were reversed, and your partner was always on their phone when you were trying to talk to them. It would be pretty hurtful, right? So make sure you're present when you're with your partner and give them your undivided attention. This is easy, isn't it? Just put your phone down. Number 2, controlling behavior. Ooh, this is a real toughie. No one wants to be controlled, but sometimes we do it without even realizing it. It might start off small, like telling your partner what to wear or what to eat. But if you're not careful, it can escalate into something much bigger and more serious. Before you know it, you could be dictating every aspect of their life, and that's not healthy for either of you. It's important to give your partner the freedom to make their own choices, even if you don't agree with them. Otherwise, they will start to feel suffocated, and that's when the resentment sets in. This happens very subtly and gradually, so it's important to be aware of it and to catch yourself before it gets out of hand. So the next time you're about to tell your partner what to do, ask yourself, do I really need to say this? Or can they figure it out for themselves? Chances are, they can. With me so far? Good. The more you know about these relationship mistakes, the better chances you have of saving your relationship. Number 3, comparing your partner to others. Now, it is human nature to compare. We do it all the time, whether we're conscious of it or not. But when it comes to our relationships, comparing our partner to others is a recipe for disaster. It's important to remember that everyone is different, and that is what makes us special. Comparing your partner to someone else is not only unfair, but it's also hurtful. It will make them doubt themselves and wonder if they're good enough for you. And that's not a healthy place for either of you to be. It's the things you say during an argument that you regret the most. Avoid saying things like, "You're just like your father," or "Why can't you be more like so-and-so?" These comparisons will only serve to make your partner feel bad about themselves. Think twice before you say anything during an argument. It's easy to say something in the heat of the moment that you'll regret later. Okay, moving on. The next relationship mistake is a big one, so pay attention. Number 4, not communicating. One of the biggest mistakes you can make in a relationship is to stop communicating. This is such an important point because communication is the foundation of any healthy relationship. If you're not communicating with your partner, then you're not really connecting with them. You might think you are, but chances are, you're not. Communication is more than just talking. It's also about listening and really hearing what your partner has to say. It's about being open and honest with each other, and it's about respect. For example, if you're always interrupting your partner when they're trying to talk to you, then that's a sign that you're not really listening to them. Or if you're always talking over them, then that's a sign of disrespect. Either way, it's not good. Do this instead. The next time your partner is trying to talk to you, really listen to what they have to say. Don't interrupt them, and try to hear them out. You might be surprised at how much you learn about them. This is a simple but important way to show them that you respect them and that you're truly interested in what they have to say. Believe me, this will make a world of difference in your relationship. Comment below and let me know how you're doing with these relationship mistakes. Now, on to the next one. Number 5, withholding affection. Another mistake that can damage a relationship is when one person starts to withhold love or affection. Sounds evil, right? But it happens more often than you might think. Maybe you're angry with your partner and you want to hurt them the way they've hurt you. Or maybe you're just feeling insecure and you need some reassurance. Either way, withholding love or affection is not a healthy way to deal with your problems. All it does is create distance and resentment. Instead of withholding love, try expressing your feelings in a more constructive way. Talk to your partner about what's bothering you. Tell them how you're feeling and why you're feeling that way. Chances are they had no idea that you were feeling this way. By communicating openly and honestly, you can start to work through your problems instead of letting them fester. Have you done this or been a victim of this behavior in your relationship? Tell me about it in the comments. The next relationship mistake is a tough one, but it's important to talk about. Number 6, playing mind games. This can take many different forms, but the general idea is that one person will try to control or manipulate the other person in some way. For example, they might threaten to leave the relationship if their partner doesn't do what they want, or they might try to make their partner feel guilty by playing on their emotions. These mind games are unhealthy and destructive. They only serve to create mistrust and resentment, and in the end, they usually don't work, so why bother? If you're feeling tempted to play mind games with your partner, ask yourself, what I'm trying to achieve. Chances are, there's a better way to handle the situation. You could try communicating openly and honestly with your partner, or you could try to find a compromise that works for both of you. But whatever you do, don't play mind games. It's not worth it. Cheap tactics like these might seem like they're getting you what you want in the short term, but in the long term, they'll only damage your relationship. And that is not something that you want. Personally, I have been a victim of mind games in a relationship before, and it's not fun. If this is something you're dealing with, I feel for you. It's not easy to deal with, but hopefully, knowing that you're not alone will help. The next mistake is one that a lot of people make, but it's important to avoid. Number 7, passive-aggressive behavior. If you're not familiar with the term, passive aggressiveness is when someone expresses their anger or frustration in a passive way instead of directly confronting the issue. For example, if your partner is upset with you, they might give you the silent treatment or make snide comments instead of just telling you what's wrong. This kind of behavior only creates distance and resentment. It doesn't solve anything. If you're feeling passive-aggressive, try to take a step back and assess the situation. What are you really angry about? And more importantly, why are you afraid to confront the issue head-on? Once you've identified what's driving your passive-aggressiveness, you can start to deal with it in a more constructive way. Maybe you need to have a difficult conversation with your partner, or maybe you need to work on your own communication skills. Whatever the case may be, don't let passive-aggressiveness ruin your relationship. It's not worth it. The next mistake is one that a lot of people make without even realizing it. Number 8, emotional cheating. Cheating is obviously a big no-no, but even if you're not physically cheating on your partner, you can still be guilty of emotional cheating. Emotional cheating is when you form a deep connection with someone other than your partner. This can happen online or in person. For example, you might start spending more time chatting with a friend than you do talking to your partner. Or you might confide in someone else about your relationship problems instead of talking to your partner about it. Either way, emotional cheating is a problem because it creates distance in your relationship. It's important to remember that your partner should be your best friend and confidant. If you're finding yourself turning to someone else for support, it's time to reassess your relationship. Communication is key in any relationship. If you're not communicating with your partner, it's only going to lead to problems. Do you feel like you're not being listened to? Do you feel like your partner doesn't understand you? These are all valid concerns, but they're not going to be resolved if you don't talk to your partner about them. The next time you're feeling frustrated, try communicating openly and honestly with your partner. It might not be easy, but it's important. Comment below and let me know what you think. Number 9, withdrawing from the relationship. This usually happens when someone is feeling overwhelmed or stressed. They might start to withdraw from their partner both emotionally and physically. They might stop talking to them, spending time with them, or being intimate with them. This can be really confusing and hurtful for the other person. After all, why would someone withdraw from the relationship if they're happy? There are a few possible reasons. Maybe they're feeling overwhelmed and need some space. Or maybe they're dealing with something that's stressing them out and they don't want to take it out on their partner. Whatever the reason, it's important to communicate with your partner if you're starting to withdraw from the relationship. Let them know what's going on and why you're withdrawing. It might not be easy, but it's important to communicate with your partner if you're starting to withdraw from the relationship. The last thing you want is for your partner to think that they did something wrong. By communicating openly and honestly, you can avoid misunderstandings and keep your relationship strong. Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.